Okie dokie, hello guys, take two, meaning we're gonna solve the same problem in a different approach, which is the really better engineering approach, I would say, more than a mathematical. This is 60 here, that means this is 40, right? 30, look how I am tired, 30 degrees. And this is 40, that means this is gonna be 50 because it has to be 90 degrees in between them. So what is the engineering approach? First, and every single problem with forces, 2D or 3D, might be solved in this way. First, resolve forces into components. Second, you see, I could be a good medical doctor with my penmanship. Two, find resultant in X and resultant in Y. Hence, we can find the resultant force by, because we're working with perpendicular components, we can say this. Otherwise, we will have to use the law of cosines to combine these two. So resultant Pythagoras apply. Find direction. Usually you find the direction angle or one angle. I don't know if this is the direction angle as the square root of inverse tangent of Ry divided by Rx. That's the way you find usually your angle. So let's do that. This force is going to have this component and this component. And the other force B, meaning it's going to have this component and this component. So let's start with the component in X of A. If we start with that, summation in X is going to be what? What is this component? Well, this is 30, meaning it's going to be 8 cosine 30. And this component for B is going to be 6 cosine 50. Could it be easier? Now this other one, now let's go in Y. It's going to be what? It's going to be 8 sine 30 because it's the opposite. And this is going to be 6 sine 50 because it's the opposite to 50. However, ding 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 ding, this is pointing up. If we say that our X is to the right and our Y is up, this is going to be positive, but this is going to be negative. So I need to put the negative sign and include the negative sign in there. Rest is calculation. Clear. Why this is nothing clear? On, off, all school. Oh, clear. Okay. 8 cosine 30 plus 6 cosine 50. That's 10.785. Let's say 10.785 kilonewtons. 8 sine 30 minus 6 sine 50. Oh, you see, this is gonna cause an error because I didn't close that. Insert, close. There you go. Negative 0.596 kilonewton. What does that mean? That means that our resultant in X, if these are my axes, goes 10.785 in this direction, but it goes 0.596 in this direction to produce a resultant force that is going to be this one. How do you find the resultant force? Resultant force is going to be the square root of 10.785 squared plus 0.596 squared. Oh, he didn't put the sign. He messed up. I don't care. It's a square. So square plus 10.785 squared. And then I get the square root of that, meaning elevated to the 0.5, and then you get 10.8. Oh, that rings a bell, 10.8. 10.8, 10.8, 10.8. This is what we did before using the parallelogram law. Okay, now this angle. That angle I can calculate it with the y over x component or any other way, because I could say this angle is the inverse cosine of this divided by that, or the inverse sine of this divided by that. But because you are used to calculate it using a inverse tangent, let's use that. Don't put the signs. Let's we assign the orientation for that angle. So 0.596, that's y, divided by 10.785, and that will be an angle of 0.596 divided by the value that I already had there, inverse tangent of that, of the answer, is 3.16 degrees. Now, this angle is 3.16 degrees. Once again, depending on how your professor tells you that you have to do the orientation or the direction, I am used, if you give me the angle and say that is the angle alpha and the problem is asking you for that alpha, perfect, you're done. But if the problem asks you for direction, I will extremely suggest first ask your professor, or if you know whatever the professor wants, usually direction has to be measured counterclockwise from the positive x-axis, which will be that. And that will be 316 minus 3.16, and that's 356.84 degrees. That, in my opinion, will be the direction, and this is the resultant force, which also are what we got when we solve it using parallelogram law. Thank you for watching, guys. See you next video.